Allow me to begin. For the next few minutes, I will discuss my chosen BC species at risk, the blue whale. First, let's take a look at some key scientific information related to the species. So, the full scientific name of the blue whale is actually Balaenoptera musculus. Balaenoptera being its genus and musculus its species. The species musculus belongs to the phylum Chordata and the subphylum of Vertebrata, which can be further broken down to its class, which is Mammalia, and order Cetacean. Some of these names may sound a little funny, so let's explore their meaning. A cetacean is simply any whale, dolphin, or porpoise. Mammalia, unsurprisingly, means mammal, which is any animal that is warm-blooded and nourishes their young with milk secreted by mammary glands. Chordata, on the other hand, is an animal that has a dorsal nervous cord, and Vertebrata is just a vertebrate animal. Is a blue whale unicellular or multicellular? Well, to decipher this issue, one must know the definitions of these terms. A unicellular organism is simply an organism that only consists of one cell, such as bacteria, protists, and some algae. A multicellular organism, on the other hand, is an organism that is made up of groups of cells, like this frog that I have shown here. So, considering that the largest blue whales can be made up of over 100 quadrillion cells, it is reasonably safe to assume that they are multicellular, not unicellular organisms. Next question. How do blue whales obtain energy? In other words, what is their position on the trophic level? Blue whales are heterotrophic. This means that they obtain their food by means of consuming other organisms. Their main course is krill, a tiny crustacean, which makes them carnivorous. On the pyramid, krill are primary consumers, organisms that feed off plants, and because blue whales feed off them, they are considered secondary consumers. That being said, blue whales don't have any natural predators, so they could also be considered top-level or tertiary consumers. Lastly, blue whales are mammals, and like all mammals, are aerobic, which means they require free oxygen to survive. The next topic on the list is reproduction. First off, let's get something straight. Blue whales reproduce through a form of sexual reproduction called internal fertilization. What happens is a male and a female blue whale of the same species mate. The sperm of the males containing 23 chromosomes is transferred internally to the female's egg. Once this happens, the egg becomes fertilized and develops into an embryo in which a new whale will develop over a period of time until birth. For female blue whales, this pregnancy period lasts for around 11 months. To explain how a blue whale responds with its environment, I focused on noting some important stimuli and responses that it might experience on a regular basis, such as being preyed upon, finding food, mating, or something as simple as breathing. A pot of orcas is a stimulus for blue whales, and it causes them to have a negative response by increasing their speed to swim away. Another example, the oxygen above the ocean, also triggers a stimulus for the blue whale. Blue whales require free oxygen to survive, and so they respond positively by swimming towards it. Another kind of positive response would occur upon finding a shoal of krill. The blue whale would move towards the stimulus to feed. Now, the last stimulus would occur in the tropics during the mating season. A male blue whale spots a female blue whale and responds positively by swimming towards her in hopes of mating. On the previous slides, we explored a few ways a blue whale can respond to stimuli in its environment. But how can such a large marine mammal maintain homeostasis? The answer is blubber. Blubber, or adipose tissue, is, in my opinion, one of the coolest adaptations of all marine mammals. While many terrestrial animals have a fur coat for isolation, a blue whale's means of keeping itself warm is its blubber. It is in many ways the ultimate insulator and perfect for maintaining a whale's homeostasis. For a blue whale, its layer of blubber takes up around 27% of its body mass and controls the output of heat to maintain a stable body temperature by storing energy and heat. Its form also increases the blue whale's buoyancy because it is less dense than the surrounding water, which is key for helping them swim and remaining afloat while sleeping. Lastly, blubber acts as a storage for nutrients. which lessens the need for blue whales to search for food for prolonged periods of time, like many marine animals. Blubber is key for the survival of blue whales. Remove it, and based on the above, we can see that they would surely die of drowning, hypothermia, and starvation. Blubber is a key adaptation for all marine mammals. But what are some specific adaptations for blue whales, or whales in general? 1. The blue whale's elongated body allows it to glide with ease through the water, which is key for both getting food and migrating long distances. 2. Blue whales have series of pleats, which allows them to rapidly expand their throats to 4 times their normal size, a structure adaptation which is key for feeding. More adaptations include the following. 2 flukes on the back tail contribute to its speed as it propels through the water. Without such structural adaptations, the blue whale's massive body would be too much of a burden. The second I will discuss on this page is called baleen. Baleen are an ingenious substitution to teeth. They hang from the upper jaw in a bristle-like manner and filter water from krill when the blue whale feeds. The last 2 blue whale adaptations that we will discuss today are 2 very important behavioral adaptations. Because blue whales are mammals, they must return to the surface to breathe. They cannot fully go to sleep at once or they would drown. Instead, blue whales have evolved a remarkable behavioral adaptation which allows them to rest half of their brain at a time, while still being conscious enough to return to the surface every once in a while. While doing this, the blue whales show off another interesting behavior. While resting, they position themselves in a dead, motionless, vertical position, which personally, I find a little unsettling. Next, let's examine a blue whale's life cycle. When a calf is born, it weighs over 2 tons and can be longer than 7 meters. For the next 8 months, it will consume 90 kilograms of its mother's milk every day until it is weaned. A few months later, when the calf is around 13 meters long, it will leave its mother to occupy a life of its own. During this time, the calf is still developing, and after 10 years it has reached sexual maturity and is ready to mate with a partner. Mating always happens with the tropics. Upon death, blue whales could have reached a length of around 30 meters. Now that we have explored all the characteristics of life, let's get something straight. Blue whales are endangered, and not just in BC, but globally as well. In our province, the level of concern for their survival is red, which means they are endangered or at risk in British Columbia. Unfortunately, blue whales are not the only ones of their order to be at risk in the world. Just in BC, members of the cetacean order at risk include the blue whale, fin whale, gray whale, humpback whale, killer whale, which include the transient offshore southern and northern resident populations, northern Pacific right whale, the Z whale, and the sperm whale. On a global scale, 87 out of the 90 cetaceans alive are endangered. That's over 95% of the world's cetaceans. So, why are blue whales so endangered? Well, to know that, we have to look at their past. Before 1966, blue whales were hunted profusely by whalers who wanted their blubber for the production of lamp oil, soap, perfumes, and candles. A meager salvation for such a great price. Ever since the industrialization of the world, garbage and tankers have filled the oceans. Whales can get entangled in this trash, and if that's not enough, tankers can collide with them, resulting in serious, if not fatal, injuries. Fortunately, there are things being done to sustain blue whale populations on a global and federal scale. For instance, the regulations created by Parks Canada have made it illegal for any ship to come closer than 400 meters of a blue whale in the St. Lawrence River area. The main objective of these regulations is to limit the impact that humans have on St. Lawrence River blue whales. A more historic example, however, is the formation of the International Whaling Commission in 1946. Today, it represents a global organization that consists of 87 governments all working towards the protection of whales. Now that whaling has been, for the most part, abolished, the Commission works at addressing a wide range of non-whaling threats to cetaceans, including entanglement, ship strikes, marine debris, climate change, and other environmental concerns. The Global Youth Biodiversity Network is the official major group responsible for negotiating under the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. They are largely responsible for educating youths on political matters and helping them to take action and work to promote sustainable practices for biodiversity. Furthermore, GIBN works to connect youths globally with an agenda to help stop depletion in biodiversity. So, after learning all of this copious information, what can you do to help sustain blue whale populations? Fortunately, there are many things you can do. Whenever you're working on biodiversity projects at home or at school, send them to GIBN. They'll feature them on their website. Or when you're whale watching, choose a company that respects the regulation on observing marine mammals, such as Prince of Wales that I've shown here in the background. Another thing you can do, after this presentation, go home, share your knowledge with your family or your peers. Spread the knowledge of the blue whale so that more people are motivated to help. Or you can organize beach cleanups to limit the garbage entering our oceans. This will not only help blue whales, but all cetacean populations. In short, reduce your ecological footprint. Thank you.